reached Rad Steele's Awesome Toy Review. I'm your man, Rad Steele. Well, today I ran into a figure I didn't even expect out yet. And that is Masterverse Master of the Universe Revelation Faker. Masterverse Masters of the Universe Revelation Faker. But before I get into the actual review, I just want to go over some of the details on this box. In the front here, you have the typical display window showing you the contents of what's inside. Over here, you have the Netflix logo, and underneath it, it reads, a Netflix original series. Then over here on the side, you have a picture of Faker in his regular He-Man mode. Then you have him blast, his He-Man effect looks like he got blasted off, and you have some of the cybernetics exposed. On the back of the box, you have another picture of the exposed He-Man, and over here it reads, Faker, evil robot of Skeletor. Of all the deadly minions at Skeletor's disposal, Faker's mastery of deception and destruction makes him among the most dangerous. The cybernetics doppelganger of He-Man takes on the appearance of Eternia's most powerful protector, fooling many heroes, including the sorceress of Grayskull herself. By the time the heroes discover Faker's true nature, it may be too late. Then on the bottom here, you have some of the cross-sell of the available figures with Wave 1. Masters of the Universe Revelation Faker. Faker was released on September of 2021. He is sold at a suggested retail price of $30.99 and is available exclusively at Target. Faker has 30 points of articulation, and his accessories include his power sword, He-Man's chest harness, Faker's chest harness, shield, 2 swappable heads, 2 swappable hands, and his gauntlet. Faker stands at 7 inches tall and is meant for fans ages 6 and up. Faker is a Netflix's Masters of the Universe inspired action figure. Let's talk about some of Faker's accessories and features. First off, by talking about his shield. And his shield is the exact same as the shield that came with the Revelation He-Man. And I'm holding these side by side. I mean, I can notice that the orange for the Faker shield is a little bit brighter, but I don't think you guys can tell from the camera, the camera shot. I'm going to put this to the side. And next I want to go and talk about Faker's power sword. And the Faker power sword again is exactly like the He-Man power sword, except for the orange hilt. And next I want to go and talk about Faker's chest armor, which is pretty cool because it's a nod towards the Vintage Faker, because the Vintage Faker did come with an orange Skeletor chest harness, which this pretty much is. And I can show you guys what that looks like because I do have an Origins Faker on hand. And as you can see, he's sporting the orange Skeletor chest harness. And while I have the two side by side, you can see that there's some very noticeable differences, such as his blue skin and his orange hair and the blue pants, blue boots. And to me, Faker was kind of a silly concept when it came to the Vintage series, because if you want to have a real Faker, just buy a second He-Man. But Mattel figured out how to, cash in on having a poser or a fake He-Man, so they made him, much different, so people would go in and buy him. But in a TV series, he looked exactly like He-Man, except for the glowing eyes. And next, I want to go ahead and talk about the He-Man head sculpt. And this head sculpt is really, really nice, but it is not like the He-Man from the Wave 1 Revelation series, which a lot of people had a lot of problems with, and I didn't really care for this head sculpt either. I mean, it's really goofy, and he doesn't look tough. But they really corrected that issue with this head sculpt. I think this head sculpt's much better than what we got from Revelation He-Man. But Revelation He-Man's a whole different story. I was not very keen on that figure, but I like this head sculpt. And And they also included the robotic head sculpt, which is really cool because during the Netflix series, or the Revelation series, the Sorceress blew away the top part of Faker and exposed a lot of his metallics. And this is what he looked like, and I think that's really cool they went ahead and they sculpted that. Then the figure itself has that detail where you can see the separation between the flesh and the robotics. They even did like the muscle. I mean, you can see like the detail there. Let me pull him a little bit closer so you guys can see that. That's just fantastic what they did this figure. I mean, this figure, I mean, it's almost an exact remold from the bottom, from the waist down. I mean, he's got that big hulking leg still. But I mean, I think the robotics being exposed makes up for the figure. But I'm gonna go ahead and put him on my rotating table, and I'm gonna spin him around with the different heads on him, and maybe even with a different chest harness. So you guys give me a second. I'm going to put that together for you guys. Well, I have Faker on my display table. I'm gonna go and spin him around so you guys can see what he looks like from all angles. And you'll notice the detail, and I mean, like I said earlier, the separation between the flesh and the metal. It's beautifully done. And I want to say this is a whole different remold from the top part. Because the one fault I noticed from the Revelation He-Man is he was very weird, lengthy, and it looks like they bulked up his shoulders just a little bit, or it could just be me. But he just looks a little bit more proportioned to the Revelation He-Man. I'm gonna go and rotate him around so you guys can see what it looks like from all angles with the robotic head. I mean, the robotic head is cool, but I like the head sculpt with the half robotics, half He-Man on it. Much better. I mean, this head sculpt for this He-Man is not great, but it's better than what they came out with the Wave 1 Revelation figure. Now I have Faker in his original Faker chest harness, and I have to say, it doesn't look too bad, but it really doesn't fit the whole scheme of things. Go ahead and rotate him around so you guys can see him from all angles. He looks a little strange with that orange chest harness, but I mean, like I said, it's a great nod towards the Vintage series. It's really cool that Target included that in this exclusive set. Now that I have Faker on my display table, you guessed it, it's comparison time. So I'm gonna go ahead and move Faker over a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and bring in Revelation He-Man. And I don't know what it is. I just don't like this character. And I know that for a second there, the way I had him positioned, because this is the way he came in package, he was like this. So his neck kind of protruded out, but I figured out you could kind of straighten his chest out so you can make him look a little bit better. But I mean, still, he's very awkward. I mean, for some reason, it looks like this He-Man's a little bit bulkier. I don't know if it's because the resculpted chest they made his chest a little bit bigger. But I don't know. Plus the head sculpt's a little bit better on the Faker version. But I don't know, He-Man just seems so small, and the chest harness doesn't really help. I know that they have the same chest harnesses, but I'm glad. I don't know. I like this one, this mold, or what you want to call it, version of He-Man much better than what they came up with Wave 1. I mean, of course, like I mentioned earlier, from the waist down, they're the exact same figure, and the molded detail here, I think they might have made some improvements up in the upper body to make it more proportional. And plus the head doesn't protrude as much, the neck's not as long, or they just sculpted the head so that the neck sets in lower into the head. But just let me spin this around so you guys could kind of make the comparison on your own. I just don't know what they did. Well, where they went wrong with this mold. To me, it just didn't work. We're gonna go ahead and close and talk about Faker. And I was really reluctant. I mean, I picked him up just to review him. I didn't really have high expectations of this figure, but I really have to say he's a great figure. So if you see him at Target, and he's all over the place at Target, he's not very hard to find, go ahead and pick him up. Great figure, lots of great play features. I mean, he's about $10 more than what you would pay for the regular Revelation figures. And I don't know if you would equate all the play accessories and play features that came with him to being worth the $10 extra, but go and pick him up. But if you found any of this information useful, please like and share this video. Plus, if you really enjoy my content, please subscribe to my channel. And while you're there, click the bell to be notified of any future notifications. Thank you for watching Steele's awesome toy review. I'll check you out next time.